20 years ago, an industry phenomenon was formed by a band of renegade agents.
Creative Artist Agency, or CAA, is stronger and more powerful than its competitors and probably stronger than any agency in the world due to the extreme cruelty with which Michael Ovitz and his two co-owners Ronald Meyer and Bill Haber control most of Hollywood, which they have tacitly declared their territory. They use Japanese mind control techniques, teaching fellow agents to suppress the ego of everyone who joins the agency. They themselves despise publicity, often hide their working methods even from close relatives, and they are without a doubt the real curse of Hollywood. My name is Fred Maximoff. This is Case 8192. California, Los Angeles, Hollywood. Our days. Creative Artist Agency foundations are everywhere, in the United States, Great Britain, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, and even in China. But their main headquarters is in Hollywood. And it's interesting, if you look at the CAA building from above, nothing reminds you. Yes, this is the same symbol of the Illuminati. Frankly, they hardly hide their ties to the CIA. For example, the CIA repeatedly used Tom Hanks, whom the CAA provided for their cooperation. Few people have analyzed that Hanks actually has a close relationship with the US government throughout his career. Real-life people played by Hanks include lawyer Jeffrey Bowers, astronaut Jim Lovell, ship captain Richard Phillips, pilot Chesley Sullenberger, television host Mr. Rogers, and even Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks. Tom has worked with government agencies perhaps more than any other actor in Hollywood. In 1987, he starred in the Dragnet reboot based on a mid-20th century film franchise. Like the original, the 1987 version was backed by the real LAPD and worked on by real-life LAPD spokesman Dan Cube. In 1994, Tom Hanks landed the lead role in Forrest Gump, and the producers immediately turned to the Pentagon for military support. The Department of Defense ultimately rejected the project because it felt the script contained too much profanity and portrayed the military too stereotypically. They didn't like the scene where Forrest makes fun of the president. CAA was formed in 1975. The original plan was to form a small talent scouting organization, find obscure actors and promote them, then monetize them without any official titles or paperwork. One of the first bands that got them a contract was the Jackson 5. It was a group of brothers of Michael Jackson, including himself. It was participation in the group that was the start of the career of Michael Jackson. So CAA somehow magically knew how to find great talent from the beginning. Of course, other agencies didn't like it, but CAA fought back stubbornly, poaching clients from larger competitors. They also took the drastic step of cutting commission fees to a minimum. This aroused the interest of the actors and the dissatisfaction of competitors. They claim they have never reduced the agency's traditional 10% commission. But why then did a small unknown agency interest actors more than well-known agencies of that time? The CAA openly admits that they have reduced only the regular fee from 10% to 6% per turnkey package of TV shows. That is, the assembly of all elements of the show, including the writer, producer, and celebrity. Thus their commission was the lowest in Hollywood. Obviously, this move helped CAA become a major producer of primetime television series. They turned their services into a goose that lays golden eggs. With only 10% of the proceeds, they began to generate huge streams of income, some of which are still being paid out from the 70s. Warner Brothers was also constantly in close contact with the Creative Artist Agency, and this was not surprising.
If you want something from Warner Brothers chairman Bob Daly, you have to go to Michael Ovitz first.
The CAA were the first to come up with the idea of showing movies on TV, packing it according to the budget. Prior to this, major films were made only for showings in cinema, but after the arrival of the CAA, everything changed. Numerous television sitcoms have appeared. By the mid-90s, CAA already had 550 employees and about 1,400 of the best Hollywood actors. The income of the company itself was at least $150 million. In 1995, CAA was officially named Hollywood's most powerful agency. Even this well-known Coca-Cola advertisement from 1995 was also developed by CAA. They struck a deal to create the Transformers franchise between toy maker Hasbro, DreamWorks, and Paramount Pictures, as well as numerous writers and directors. Moreover, CAA controls the income of not only living clients who cooperate with them, but also those who have no longer alive. For example, they still control the income of the well-known musician Bob Marley. That is, CAA billed their contract in such a way that the artists owe them both during their lifetime and after their life. As Hollywood's business gets more attention than ever, CAAs are facing curiosity about how they operate. They have become one of the most influential and most secretive organizations. Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Kim Basinger, Barbra Streisand, Robert De Niro, Clint Eastwood, and many more have all built their careers with this agency. But what do we really know about CAA? Michael Ovitz and creative artist, as a result of titanic work for 20 years, have formed a monopoly on almost all the leading directors, actors, and screenwriters of Hollywood. A distinctive feature of CAA is the most rigorous approach to the reputation of its clients. Unsightly antics mean an inevitable break in the contract for the agency's clients. One such example was Fox News host Megyn Kelly's contract termination due to her incautious remarks in 2018. Speaking about Halloween costumes, the journalist spoke out in support of the makeup that was used in theatrical scenes to ridicule African Americans. They also cut ties with Kanye West after his series of anti-Semitic remarks. If you look at the CAA agency website, you will find that they interact with far more than just the film and music industry. Among their clients are writers, screenwriters, athletes, bloggers, comedians, trainers, designers, chefs, and even politicians. Back in 2017, US President Joe Biden signed a contract with CAA. But why did he need it? Also look at former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. In 2017 she also signed with CAA. Based on these facts, it can be assumed that the agency has some kind of political projects of which they are a part. CAA has also been closely associated with notorious producer Harvey Weinstein, who was sentenced in March 2020 to a 23-year prison term for harassment. Publications about the Weinstein cases began to appear in the American media in the fall of 2017. According to actress Rose McGowan, in order to distance herself from the Weinstein connection, CAA organized a flash mob with Hollywood actresses at the Golden Globe Awards in January 2018. Then the celebrities dressed in black in protest against harassment. Rose accused the protesters of hypocrisy. In her Instagram post, she wrote that there are two agencies that control your mind and the name of one of them ends with 2A. Rose claims that her short film Breaking Dawn is about how she got out of this agency. In the film itself, a wealthy gas station attendant lures an underage protagonist into the woods. Then he humiliates and takes her life. All this happens in front of her friends, who helped to catch the girl. The parallels to the ritual harassment of young women by wealthy men in the entertainment industry are clear. Immediately after the Weinstein accusation, Rose McGowan was cut from all her future projects and has not been in a Hollywood film since. Weinstein, a well-known longtime friend of Senator Hillary Clinton, then hired several former Mossad agents to pursue several girls who tried to report him. Among these women was Rose McGowan, but she bravely continued to post more and more messages from actresses about Harvey Weinstein's harassment. At the same time, her longtime agent, with whom Rose worked, suddenly ended his own life in his house. The reason for this and the method have never been established. But why did the police then decide that he did it himself of his own free will? Putting all these facts together, it's very easy to assume that something incredibly rotten is going on with the relationship between government and entertainment. Rose McGowan is incredibly brave to face this. Weinstein was also very close to David Becker, the chief executive of American media. Through this friendship, he was known in the industry as Becker's untouchable friend. This status was given only to a select few, including former President Trump. It is impossible to say exactly how many women have been treated like this in the agency. The CAA agents remained silent for years, pretending not to know what was going on. But pay attention to something else. The best agencies in Hollywood are run only by men. None of them has ever been led by a woman. The same thing happens with directors or producers. How much have you heard about female producers? Of course, they certainly are. But are there many? And they are as famous as the men. After complaints about the treatment of women became public, Reese Witherspoon said she too was harassed when she was 16 and expressed anger towards agents who made her feel that silence was a condition of her job. Agents often start working with actresses when they are at the peak of their youth, and also at their peak of vulnerability given their age. Although agents should be responsible for protecting the interests of their clients, they do not make their living from them, but from company executives. For agents, actors and actresses may come and go, but Mr. Weinstein has been one of Hollywood's bigwigs, producing up to 30 films a year. No wonder who was their priority. The CAA has been repeatedly accused of blacklisting people who did or said things they didn't want to publicize. Agents control celebrity advertising projects, negotiate, form a selling image, and the agency itself dictates their requirements. None of the celebrities the agency works with can just do what they want or don't want to do. For example, a person cannot do homing out if he has $1 million contract with some brand, but not all celebrities have agents. You will be surprised to know that Leonardo DiCaprio avoided working with agents for years, but is a long-time and regular client of the CAA. They've been in control of his career since he was young, and they seem to know too much incriminating information to keep him on the hook. Celebrities like DiCaprio are very beneficial to the agency, because they bring them huge profits, cause almost no problems and no try to expose the industry. They play by the rules that were written for them. Also, one of the reasons DiCaprio doesn't have an agent is because he's not at that level anymore, and he doesn't need someone to bring his resume to the producers. He doesn't need to grab onto the best roles. They're already written for him. Leo has a unique acting career. He has worked with almost all of the greatest living directors, and with a few exceptions, every project he has been a part of has been an absolute hit. It is also important to understand that DiCaprio does not act in secondary roles. Other stars equally talented lose their image because they settle for a good supporting role. The rejection of any roles other than the main ones played a huge role in keeping Leo relevant and in making him popular with the general public. The CAA has such a feature: they accept their ranks only by established and already successful celebrities. Because of this, people get the feeling that if there are so many celebrities there, then you definitely need to try to join this particular agency in order to become successful. But the trick is that these pre-CAA celebrities became successful. That is, they were already on the wave when they began to cooperate with the CAA. The only thing creative artists did was take their contracts with their money. The most interesting thing is that this agency is interested in absolutely any type of actors. Because the main thing is that the actor does not change his type. That is, they for example do not fit Miley Cyrus, who suddenly decided to change her look from a Disney girl to a pop star. For CAA, it is important that the client be like Leonardo DiCaprio, who throughout his acting career in the same image, absolutely did not change it, always brings a lot of money to the agency, has never been a problem and has not tried to somehow expose the industry. This is the main thing they are interested in. The chief female agent in the CAA is Hilda Cayley. It represents all the major Hollywood actresses: Cate Blanchett, Kate Winslet, Marion Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, and so on. She has gone to almost every awards show with Cate Blanchett, and basically she makes sure that only Kate gets the lead roles and good fees. If there is a competitive actress from another agency, everything will be done so that that actress does not even have a chance. Moreover, with the CAA monopoly, this is not difficult to do. Thus, the struggle for the main role in Hollywood can be excessively cruel. Another star who is in the tops of the CAA is, of course, Harry Styles. The drastic change in Harry's image didn't happen by chance either. This is a clearly and evenly built system for promoting his image. I'll explain now. CAA has full rights to the image of Mick Jagger, and it is not at all difficult for the agency to create something similar using the technique of already successful cases. They can work with any celebrity very easily simply because they have always done it. The only difference is who they decide to make the next pop star look like. But after the image is chosen, this star has the right to move only along a strictly defined trajectory. Did Mick Jagger did oming out? No. Then Harry is also forbidden to do oming out. After all, there is nothing better than just going along the beaten path while collecting profits. And one more important nuance. WikiLeaks has released thousands of confidential CAA documents that show the spy agency has been working to develop tools to control devices such as Apple and Android smartphones, Samsung TVs, and vehicle control systems. The control tools included malware and viruses designed to attack iOS, Google, and Android. This would allow the CAA to access the location messages of users, as well as control the microphone and camera of the phone. In fact, this is a totalitarian process that has been going on throughout history. Remember that supposedly accidental iCloud leak in 2013 and those provocative shots of Jennifer Lawrence on the couch? Do you think it happened by accident? Basically, Hollywood is just a couple of powerful agencies that keep this whole industry afloat, doing it at the behest of their bosses, who now run everything and take almost half of every dollar earned in the United States. This is an invisible control against all people, and the only difference is who you are in this show, a participant or a spectator enjoying what is happening with relish.